pushed me a little bit more, I think that would have been helpful.
Hello， 大家好，今天非常高兴我能够邀请到 David 他是这个莅临维多利亚小学的校长，也是深圳资历最老的民办双语学校之一。
I've got a wife from Hong Kong and a 4-year-old son who's learning 3 languages.
Why, as a US living in China, you want your child to learn both Mandarin and Cantonese?
My wife's from Hong Kong, and so he heard Cantonese and English early on. And so, as my wife and I joke, we installed the apps in his brain, right? His APP, that APP is in his brain, that the Cantonese APP is there, the English APP is there. He can come in, if you speak English to him, he'll speak English back. The moment you switch to Mandarin, he will switch Mandarin to you. You know, like, bye-bye, bye-bye, Sifu, bye-bye, so-so.
So, as an educator, and very experienced one, how do you educate your own child?
Reading, and more reading. You have a family that can speak multiple languages, then reading aloud in both languages, right, early on.
I bet you have heard the words like 鸡娃 and 内卷.
I've heard of it. You know, parents to have expectations for their children, I think that's very fair, right? We want what's best for our children. And I think when, as you said, it's 20%, have a university degree, I think we all realize the importance of that push. But I also think let's balance that with a childhood. I bet if you and I sat down and compared our childhoods, I bet you we had very different childhoods.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? You know, I played baseball, I played football, but I wasn't in training courses after school, right? I learned to play the saxophone, and then after a while I didn't like it anymore. My mom said, okay, you could stop. In retrospect, I wish my parents were a little bit more, pushed me a little bit more. I think that would have been helpful.
David 说他希望他的家长当年更加激他一点点，可能会更好。
But I think also having realistic expectations for your children and letting them be children, right? Let them go play.
Let them be children.
Let them be children. And I think that's important too, because my former assistant, who still works in my former school, and she's from Chengdu, and she said when we were in primary school, they always told us, don't worry, it's primary school is hard, but it'll get better in middle school. And so when you get to middle school, they said, don't worry, middle school's hard, but it'll get better once you get to high school. And then when you get to high school, they're like, oh, don't worry, it's really hard now, you're studying to go to university, but wait till you get to university to be better. And then she went to university here in China, and it was also very difficult. And they said, don't worry, when you have a job, it'll be better. And now she's working, and she works very hard. Where's the fun? Where's the enjoyment? Maybe when Chinese go to Europe and they say, look at them sitting around in cafes, drinking their coffee or their beer, you know, Sundays nobody works. How do they function? You know, what is happening here? But maybe look at it from a different lens. These people have developed themselves to be something more than what their job is. So I think these are the things that you're a person and you play a larger role in society rather than just your job. And I think you do that as a young person.
So that is actually what we call whole person education, and that is what you do here in Vpa.
Right.
Okay.